Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Curry, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. I don't think I've ever been more excited to make an episode than today because there's so much going on. We're coming towards the end of the guys that signed up for our program, and it's been amazing. Got the massive results. It's going to be interesting to share those testimonies with you guys. And it's been absolutely incredible because when we started, we were thinking about getting you results within sort of 30 days. I think that was going to be the promise. We started 30 days is about enough. In fact, I was thinking maybe 6 weeks because I wasn't really sure. And we've refined the process where we can guarantee that if we don't get your results in 2 weeks, you give you your money back. And because we've just refined the process, we just started understanding like how to deliver the content what content we need to deliver to you guys that doesn't have the fluff. But at the same time, we give you like just the easiest route to where you want to be, which is have sexual success within your relationships. So, and as you can see that the words that we use in order to describe is getting better. So before, I think it's evolved from unlimited sex, but now we're moving into sexual success. So there's been a lot that's been happening, and really excited. Got a few people scheduled for interviews in the next 6-7 months. So then some of them are the authors that I've always loved. I've read their books and really can't wait to see them speaking on many occasions. So for them to actually say yes to come and speak to us, it's huge, especially when I very rarely get guests on my podcast. I've never really thought about interviewing people. I've never really had time. So there's going to be a few things that are going to be happening. We're going to reopen Facebook ads, YouTube ads, which means that we're going to get more people coming through. And then probably I'll start thinking about retiring as an engineer because I'll be now fully focused on this business and serving you guys. So I'm really looking forward to that. And when those things start happening, it means that I'll be able to serve you by getting the best guests onto this podcast in order for you to get the quickest results, for you to get sexual success within your relationship. So today, I was talking to people in my mastermind, the mastermind where I attend, where I get coaching, and I was telling them about what we're doing, and I was telling them about the series that I was thinking about doing and the outline of what I was teaching. So I started teaching a little bit about it, and everybody just got blown away. And it was similar to what I taught on the Intimacy is Ugly. I sort of went an overview over it, and people were like, "Oh my God, you need to write a book on this." So I was like, I've never written a book. So there's a guy who is part of our mastermind who teaches people how to write books. So I'm going to go into his program and then probably publish a book called that. So it's going to be absolutely exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot of concepts that I was sharing that were pretty deep. So listening back to the podcast episode that I made, which was massively overview. So today I'm just going to really dive a little bit deeper. It might be a little bit longer, but you're going to get more from it because I actually learned a way of formatting how I deliver the podcast episode so I can follow some notes as well. Because before I sort of free flow with it and then see where it goes. But I want to be doing free flow some occasions, and some occasions I actually follow some notes so that when you listen to it, it can give you the best detail on how you can actually do this within your relationship, especially to moving it from sexless to sexual success, so that it's the quickest route possible. So intimacy is a massive deal when it comes to actually moving the needle, because your wife or your partner has got a misconception when it comes to intimacy, and even yourself might have a misconception when it comes to intimacy. And usually when we talk about intimacy, most people, they think it's to do with cuddles, it's to do with you saying really nice words, and it's to do this sort of candlelight music type things where you're sitting down and then you're feeling these good feelings. That's part of it, but that's not what intimacy is. Like really what intimacy is more to do with you actually becoming more vulnerable within the relationship. And this is that's the reason why we say intimacy is ugly, is because it's a lot more about you trying to reveal more of yourself, because over a period of time, when you initially started dating, there's a lot of masks that you are putting on. You're putting on this mask of somebody who's going to be high achieving, that has got ideas of being successful in the future. And those are the things that she would look at and see if you're worth putting a bet on. So you see that, are you ambitious? And then you put that mask on, and then you put another mask on of I'm strong, I can provide, I can protect. So all these are the masks that we put on, which are essential in order to attract a date and really get into a relationship, establish a relationship. But while we wear those masks, there's other ones. It's also concealing something that's, the fears, the negative thoughts, the way you see yourself, your self-esteem, your confidence, the sort of things that you also hide away as you wear those masks. And you always put those at the forefront. And as you put them at the forefront, in order for you to grow within the relationship, you have to get to a position where you're removing some of those, so they can see exactly what are those things that you are fear that bring you fear, and the ones that make you feel nervous, the ones that make you feel insecure, the ones that make you less confident. And when I say this, I think some of you guys are within relationships where some of your partner's abusive, and you generally don't feel safe to be like that because in the past you've shared something, and when it came down to it, where they needed to put some effort within the relationship because they didn't want to use or put any effort into the relationship, and you questioned them about the effort that they're putting, they used that thing that you shared as a weapon to come against you. So I can test you that where sometimes there are some things that you have to keep to yourself, and when you share them, you are sharing with close friends that are males, which is one of the most important parts about it. That sometimes some of my deepest fears, I share them with one of my best friends who's a male, and he knows those, and we can get to talk about it. And sometimes there's some things that I share, and you just say, you just being a little bitch, slaps me, and then I get on my way, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually being a little bitch. And sometimes you'll be like, I get what you're saying, and you can speak into my life in a way that will be empowering rather than judgmental or use it against me. In fact, when I say use it against me, use it as a way to shame me in order to then not question or put them up on something in the future. So this is one of the ways that women might use that against you, and I can understand why sometimes men do not actually open up or even share some of their fears and what they're going through, because it's actually terrible. And I've seen this happening quite a few times. I saw a video recently where a woman had cheated on a guy, and when guy confronted on the woman, she started telling him that, I cheated on you because you're weak as a man, and you've told me that you're weak, you're depressed, you tried to kill yourself, and so on. And she started using all these really personal, intimate details in order to shame this guy, even though she was the one who had ruined the relationship. So I guess what I'm trying to say is here that it's really important that when you are trying to initiate the intimacy and really understanding what intimacy is and want to move forward with intimacy, this is somebody who is willing to work with you within this relationship. Because if it's somebody who's combative already, and that's something that we're going to be talking about, combative behaviors on a different episode, please look out for that. But definitely, if somebody's combative and somebody's who's at a distance, there's certainly some things that you need to do before you actually get to this point in terms of intimacy. And something that I'll probably start talking about a bit more, like before intimacy, what is it that you can do in order to see the indications that you're ready to proceed into intimacy? Because that's a very important part. And especially when the intimacy is removing those masks that stop you from really showing your true self. Because the reason why you lack sex is the fact that you're not connecting, because all you have is the masks. And what this does is just over a period of time, it makes your relationship stale. Because one of the greatest part about being in a relationship, and that I think in our relationship we now understand very well, is that there's always going to be good times. And you have to celebrate when you have those good times. But you also have to learn to celebrate when there is bad times. And when you can manage to celebrate when there's bad times, because those bad times are just as essential, because that's where your masks need to come off and be able to move forward. Now, when I say masks need to come off, if you are scared and you're going to cry and because the bills have come, that's not what I mean. That's not what I'm talking about. Because again, there's some certain things that will trigger certain things within the woman, and I know this is a little bit nuanced. So that's why I'm prefacing some of the things I'm saying, so that you understand that I'm not saying just go out and be a ball of mess. It's just crying and doing all sorts of, weak male type things. What I'm saying is that when you're being vulnerable, you can be vulnerable and still show a lot of strength within you. So you're still respectable as your position as leader within that relationship. So, I mean, a lot of it comes down to that creating that safe space. Like, how do you actually do that? And when you create that safe space should be what I'm saying, that you need to be able to convey your vulnerability, but maintain the strength as a man. And a lot of that is to do with how you are reframing trust within your relationship. Because a lot of guys, they have sold trust as only to do with being faithful within the relationship. But trust takes a lot of forms within the relationship, and there's certain points where you have to increase your trust currency in certain areas within your life. Now, I'm sorry to take you guys there, because sometimes you can be completely faithful. And I've said this to a client recently. You can be faithful and not cheat on your partner. But it's just as damaging when you say one thing: this next 6 months I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this X goal. And then within 3 days, you've moved out of that goal. You're not doing that anymore. That in itself is just as bad as cheating, because it just lowers your value within that person. Now, this is how you start building that trust currency. You build it by being able to say one thing and then do that very thing to the time that you said you're going to do it. The other one is empathy. That sometimes when you've been sexless for quite a period of time and she's got this vulnerable position that she's in, and you've got this opportunity to, and okay, I'll put it this way. I'll actually tell you the story. So one time I was speaking to one guy and he was telling me the story. He said he was talking to his partner. She said to him, in terms of blowjobs, how do you rate that blowjob? But he had not had a blowjob for quite some while, and that was something that was bugging him already. Instead of just saying, judging based on the times that they have, he took that as the opportunity to point out the times that they don't have. And therefore, she was annoyed, she was upset, and it was him retaliating for the time that they didn't have sex. Therefore, it just made it worse. So instead of him getting an opportunity and saying, even being playful and say, you know what, I forgot. Can you remind me? Let me see. At the moment, you're sort of an 8 out of 10, but let's see if you can get to a 10. It could have been playful. It could have been something like an opportunity. And instead of doing that, he chose the time that he's not been having sex, or at least having the blowjob. Therefore, he used that as a whip, and then obviously it created some distance. So that empathy, you have to have that, literally that strong empathy, allow that empathy to come through, even if you've spent years without having sex. I think a lot of guys, they're so hardened by the fact that they feel rejected, and so hardened by it that the empathy goes away, and this becomes a massive barrier in order to actually initiate things. And I think with two of the other guys that we've managed to do it, this was the biggest one, allowing them to start feeling empathy and conveying that empathy. And once you convey that, that's one of the biggest things that's going to break that shell of sexlessness, to lack of a better term. So it's a very, very big one. And I think there's other things I can talk about in terms of emotional support, like the environment of intimacy. How do you create that environment of intimacy? But in order just to keep it a little bit shorter, and but those are like the key factors. We can talk about that on a later episode, or you can go and join our Facebook group, go Thriving Tribesmen, because when we do with the mini course, we're going to release that mini course, and instantly we're going to be building another course. So you'll be having free trainings through there with worksheets, and it's to do with intimacy. So we're going to be really going at it for some time. We're going to be releasing quite a lot of content. Like I said, these are going to be practical content. So this is going to be, I think, a free course. Might sell it for a very, very cheap price, but I think at the moment we're thinking to give it out for free. So we'll be really detailing it. So go and join our Facebook group, Thriving Tribesmen, and then you'll be able to get more detail on like how do you create that environment of intimacy where there's a lot of trust, currency in there. Then there's also that space that you can create that is safe for you to be vulnerable, yet this very, very strong man that you respect, because that's a very important part. So there is various aspects about nurturing that intimacy, because you have to also think of it that intimacy, the way it is now, it could be in its infancy within your relationship, because I think most people think of it as this I don't know how they think of it as this sort of clothes that you wear or uniform that you wear at some point. Like I'm in intimacy, and then all of a sudden I take it off. I think with the way I try and look at intimacy, I look at it more of as this plant, or at least this fruit tree that you have to nurture over a period of time. And as you nurture those over a period of time, it then starts bearing fruits, and then those fruits are fruits of intimacy. Then generally the fruits will be sexual, and you get to experience and explore sexuality in a different way because it's safe to do so. Hopefully you can see how powerful this is, because this will change everything within your relationship when you start seeing it from that perspective. So again, there's the physical aspect of it. It doesn't play a major role. I think when it comes to the physical side of things, it's a lot to do with more for your body language, like your cadence of how you communicate, what you're communicating. Like there's dominant stances that you can convey dominance as you are conveying something that is absolutely making you vulnerable, and again you can convey that through body language, your voice tone, and so on. Those are things that, again, these are tactical stuff that we can talk about within the course. And like I said, for the next 3 months we'll be releasing free courses, and you guys can go and consume. Because when I started thinking about this business, I was thinking about it would be nice to make money, it would be nice to become a millionaire and all these, and I was focused on the guys that will be paying like the high amount of money and so on. And I thought to myself, is that who I am? Is that what I'm about? Is this 10 years from now, when I'm living in some mansion or something and I'm completely rich and so on, would I be proud of what I've done? And then I realized that there's always going to be people that are going to want to work with me directly. And there's people that won't be able to afford to work with me directly. And I think I truly believe that if I can help you to figure stuff out, and you figure out your relationship, before you know it, you have enough power and strength in order to achieve all the dreams that you want to achieve and be able to afford to work with me directly. So essentially, there is method to the madness. So that's the reason why I'm quite happy to give you all this content. And it's not because I'm trying to have some ulterior motive. I guess there is an ulterior motive, but if you see it, that motive is to see you guys rise up and be free from financially, free from any relationship stress, and be great dads and be the amazing guy that you're supposed to be. Because some of you guys, you walk around knowing, you feel it inside you that I'm meant for greatness, but you don't live it. And hopefully I can show you the path to it. So like I said, go and join Thriving Tribesmen Facebook group, and hopefully you'll be seeing you guys over there. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to try and keep the podcast episodes shorter. The shorter ones will be mostly the ones that I'm just riffing off an idea. But the ones like this one where I'm sort of working off some notes, hopefully this has been impactful in terms of just understanding that concept of intimacy and really rechanging it within your mind, so you can start putting this effectively within your relationship, so you can really start having that sexual success within your relationship. Again, I think that's the other bit that I started working with. Two of the clients that I was working with, they brought in their partners as well. So once they started seeing them changing, they brought in their partners. So intimacy is ugly is going to be probably more of a couples thing. So it can be you guys now really getting your couples involved, because it's going to have that sort of element where you have to be interactive, and when they know that you're part of this program, it's going to be effective for both of you, because it's going to I'm currently thinking about worksheets, and I don't even know where to start in terms of doing the worksheets, so where you can write your goals like as a couple, and what you would like to achieve, and just track, because I believe in tracking. When you start tracking what you're doing as a couple, it puts you on the same place, and then whatever reason she's stopping her from getting sex, I think the fact that you're working together to do this is going to open some doors, it's going to open some wounds. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but as you get onto the other side, you're going to be grateful that you've done it, and absolutely more in love within the relationship. Like one of the guys said, I've never been in love with this woman like this before, and I've never been in love with anyone like this before. And this part of it was the fact that we started working on this bit here. So, and again, I've spoken to the lady. She said she doesn't even believe. When I told her how much the guy's paid, she's like, I can't believe that's how much you're charging. You should be charging way more. To be fair, she's already paid, so she's going to say that. But that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm not trying to get you to go to that program. It's currently closed, so you couldn't get into the program even if you wanted to at the moment. But at this time, we're going to be making this Intimacy is Ugly course, probably releasing a book. So we're going to see how this goes. So you guys can consume. So you can have multiple ways of consuming it and actually understanding it. So even if it means that you need to give your partner the book for a while to read so they can catch up to where you are, that's probably possibly one of the things that we're thinking about. So we're really thinking about how we're going to create an impact, how we're going to serve you guys in a way that's going to take you from sexless to a sexual success. So really excited about it. We'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.